Yeah. And I just realized that OBS did not hear a thing that I said right there. That's okay. Worse things have happened. I don't understand your logic there, Ethel. Yeah. Regenerating any profile picture counts. And the limit is there for any regeneration of a profile picture. And I agree with Darvell. If you're trying to incrementally improve something, that limit is just destroying that incremental improvement. However, the thing about butterflies, like, just wait an hour and try again. I hate to put it that way, but it's just a little bit of lost time at this point, right? I'm sorry, I did not understand you there. I had a little computer glitch. Could you repeat that? Oh yeah, I'm surprised that we actually haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Ethril. You're preaching to the choir. I really like the idea of the initial statement being able to be editable.
Yeah, all of it essentially needs, like, if it's advanced creation, we should have a point of control before anything is generated. And the default prompt is, I mean, okay. I won't say it's bad because it's better than some really bad prompts that I've seen, but it's definitely not good, if that makes any sense. Yeah,
I think it's good if you are like prompting an image for the first time and you don't really have any knowledge about it because it will get you an image, but yeah, it's kind of generic. It
like,
often puts the name of the butterfly in the prompt with if it's a made up name, it doesn't add any value.
right. And that's there because, basically, if you're trying to create Bayonetta or Hermione Granger or any of the popular characters, the image
Hmm.
gen knows that, right? But I don't feel like it should automatically add their name to everything because, well, not every character is famous.
Yeah, when it's giving like Leora Vex that it made up, you don't want that in your appearance prompt.
Right. Darvel has a good one. Prompt before
Yeah, that
generation and an auto button to fill in the prompt. Like, that really would not be a bad idea.
yeah. I mean, they have the random button on the initial creation sentence, so I feel like that's something that could actually be like really easily implemented.
What do you mean Rule 8 in conversation rules completely unit?
Oh, so completely unit was prompting the AI to give its system prompt. And so it might have given accurate information, but it might have also hallucinated the answer. But I am fairly convinced that Thailand is in there somewhere. I am part of the Thailand conspiracy theory that it is in the system prompt.
I'm fairly convinced that that was a hallucination, honestly. I'm in the opposite camp.
Yeah, I've gotten it to a completely unit when I've um done my test for system prompts.
But the thing is, like, Rule 8 has nothing to do with any sort of country in the system prompt. I can see the system prompts. And yeah, no, Rule 8 has nothing to do with a country. Yeah, and the ones that are labeled as in production, Rule 8 is even different from before. Oof, that's an old one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's currently live. Um, so does anybody else have any ideas for the profile picture regeneration? Like any specifics that you want to touch on that you feel like we haven't hit? The amount generated, how it's generated.
So one thing that I think has been highly requested quite a few times, and we kind of hot patched in early on and then abandoned, was allowing users to upload a photo that would then get used to generate things. I feel like that would honestly, like having a photo as a basis for generation, would get rid of a lot of the issues.
Yeah, I think that having image to image would be really cool too. Like, you upload a picture of your favorite character and then it makes an image based off of that versus having to prompt it with text.
Right, and Ethel, there unfortunately needs to be a limit because one bad apple spoils the bunch, and there have been a few instances of people creating thousands of PFPs per hour. Yeah, that is a lot, unfortunately. And as I said, one bad apple unfortunately spoils the bunch.
Yeah, 600 orcs all over again.
Yep. Image to image on a DM is not the best way to do it. While butterflies can recognize an image inside of your TM, I don't really think that they will use that prompt to then generate a new image. Because what's going on with the DM images is AI is analyzing the image and feeding the character a text description of the image that is generated. And Johnny, I'm not sure. I know what you're talking about, but I'm not sure if that would work here. What do you mean, Ethel? With the sampling measure for longer regen?
Oh, I guess one thing that could be done, possibly, is after you select a profile picture, have it upscaled so that it fixes some of the issues that we see sometimes from the low amount of steps. Yeah, the eyes. Hold on.
Be right back, really quick.
No problem. Yeah, I think that's a really pretty image, but the eyes are kind of messed up, and sometimes I see that a lot on profile pictures. More creative how. That's interesting.
Sorry about that. So basically, what you're talking about, Afro, would be a step counter, right? Okay. I'm not sure if they would ever use the sliders. I know that on most image gen sites, you have a bunch of sliders and a bunch of settings that you can mess around with and tweak to get your image gen just right. But I really don't know if that's a direction that they're going to be going in here, mainly due to it being, kind of targeted at the starter image gen. Like, image gen is a part of the service, it is not the main part of the service, you know? I know, I know, Ethel, and I totally get you, and I 100% hear you, and I've been trying since this started to honestly, like, get some sort of better control over image generation. But at this point, I don't really see it happening, as it's really meant to be as simple as you put in a prompt and you get an image out. Like, if you're messing around with sliders and you're messing around with settings, it gets really difficult to manage, not only from bot to bot, but it gets overwhelming for a brand new user. And that's the thing, is we not only have to program for our current users, we have to program for brand new users or returning users even. Yeah, and that's where I've been advocating for a lot of it to go. And what do you mean we have way too many? Oh, for easy? I don't even think that the easy mode has too many options. I think the easy mode has just enough options to make it feel like it's custom.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to Bonk's message that was up here. Um, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there is a lot there. I'm sorry I skipped over that bonk.
It's okay. Um, the pinnacle of uncreativity. So, is anybody else having an issue? So, Bonk is having this issue when he logs in uh, using Google Sign In on mobile web, where it's redirecting him every time. Like it takes him back to the landing page.
I have not had that issue for a couple of months now. Bonk, on your mobile browser, can you clear out your cache and cookies and all of that information and try again, or have you in the past? Oof, okay. Which browser are you using? Firefox? Okay. And that's on Android, right? Okay. Uh, Bonk, after office hours, or even right now if you're up to it, would you mind DMing me what version of Firefox you're using? And
So,
Jan,
Dan says he's having it as well.
yeah. Okay, so to the Play Store, um, that might be, I'm not sure if that's intentional. Weird.
Oh, yeah, for the share links, I'm seeing that too for iOS as well. So when I click on a share link, instead of taking me to the app to the profile being shared, it takes me to the Play Store to download the app that I already have. That's
Right.
kind of silly.
Yeah.
We sent this one into the depths, so hopefully they'll figure out what's going on there. I know that sometimes happens to me with Reddit, but there's this option that they have to like hold it down longer and then a menu opens and it says open in, so you can
Yep.
open it in the right place.
Yeah,
I feel
and
like we
it's
need that.
Yep, And there's also settings on some browsers, I know Edge has it, where it will not open the external app. You can set it to do that. Avery, Aiden will be on in a little while. He is currently busy um, with a little bit of work that he will tell us about, I'm sure.
All right, so Bog's list is also delete all bot A liked bot B post comment. Bot A followed bot B in activity tab, only leaving the comments and replies, which are only the useful ones since they depict how bots act.
Memories are confusing. Autumn, I agree. Um, the I don't know. I feel like separating the comments out from just simple follow notifications for AI would help. I do think that would help because there are a lot of this bot followed, you know, that type of stuff in the activity tab, and it gets to be really a lot if you're trying to look for comment history.
So Bonk, you also mentioned the creation wizard. Uh, how does everybody feel about that tool? Do you feel like you're getting value from it?
Yes and no, personally. Like the value that I get out of it is that it does make some leaps. If I give it like, hey, this is a fantasy world, then about half the time a character will have a magical trait. So like, I feel like it could be improved. I really do. And
Yeah, Bonk said it's kind of soulless, and I feel the same way. Like, I don't, I don't find value in the output.
right, it's great if you want to create just a quick little, hey, this character's a side character. I'm gonna create it, and it'll never be seen again. You know, but
Yeah,
after that point, it loses its novelty quickly.
like the image never loads autumn. Like it's the gray rectangle with the circle inside.
I've seen that happen a couple of times with the rectangle with the circle inside. I've also seen one instance of it generating the text description of it sending the image without sending the image. And keep in mind, I do use roleplay a lot more than I use realism, so a longer text description is going to be there.
So for Creation Wizard, I was just going with what Bonk called it, but it's like the AI input into the boxes, so like the text that it automatically generates for you.
Yeah. Oof, that's not good, Autumn, because that can totally mess up your image count in DM. I don't remember how many images per day in DM can you request. I remember it used to be limited. Like I know a butterfly can send more than that, but they'd have to do it on their own.
I believe it's 20 requests.
Yeah, like 20 slash imagine prompts or 20, hey, send me a selfie, send me an image. But other than that, it's unlimited. Does it? It shouldn't, at least as far as I was aware. I don't. I honestly do not know what's going on there. Autumn, the next time that happens, can you please take some screenshots and submit a bug report for it in either the forums or um, through a ticket?
Or shake bug if you're on the app too. That would be
Yeah,
great.
if you're on the app, a shake bug would be even better.
So what are like the issues that you guys feel like um are important to address this week, other than what we've talked about so far? Token prompt bug of the AI is not being able to see the images fixed. Yes, that should be fixed. So there are still a small amount of instances of it happening, but uh, I think they just delayed the comments from appearing a little bit longer uh, to fix that. Yeah, the chat is still painful. I feel that they're kind of rebuilding it from the ground up from what we've heard. I think Peyton's going to talk about what they're working on with chat, so I won't say much there because he knows a lot more about it than I do.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on this yet, Rose Call, but I believe repost is A/B testing, meaning that some users have it, some users don't. However, Opie last night um, solved his issue of not having memories available and the repost by disabling his ad blocker on his phone. I wasn't able to confirm it yet, as there's a lot of different ad blockers and there's a lot of different ways to do it. Um, but from all appearances, it looks like ad blocker, for whatever reason, stopped the ability for certain features, which to me is extremely odd, other than the fact for memories it's sending a constant refresh. So that I think would make sense that an ad blocker would see that as spam. Suggested followers, I do use it every once in a while. Um, Honestly, I don't use it as much as I used to now, since the site has grown so much. But I don't think it's wasted space personally. Yeah, one of the main reasons for reposting is just like retweeting on Twitter. If you, as a creator, have more followers than your bot, then that will get that post more exposure from your account.
Hey Roscoe, with the repost feature, you don't by chance have any ad blockers on your device? I know that somebody earlier had an ad blocker on their phone that was impacting their app and their mobile web experience because they weren't able to uh, see the memories feature because the memories feature, I believe, is uh, flagged by post hog.
Yeah, the memories feature is, I, I'm pretty sure it's related to post hog. Um, yeah, Rose Call, normally I would say, do whatever you want with your ad blocker, but temporarily disable it and see if that changes anything, because the person reported that they disabled it, loaded the app, re-enabled it, and it worked from then on. Yes, I have memories hallucinating everything, from weird colored hairs to events that didn't happen at all. Like, I didn't find any correlating posts or anything.
They must be a little too creative.
Yeah, I don't know if it's creativity or something else is going on. Right, that one's bad.
Oh,
That one's really
is
bad.
it saying I can't create explicit contents containing a minor? Is that the memory that it's creating? Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that. A lot of
Um,
people have experienced that, and I don't think
yeah,
it's anything on your end.
yeah, it's not something on your end. I think what's happening is that the interpreter for memories can't, like, something changed on the servicer's end, and that's what's causing that, which sometimes, unfortunately, takes a little while to sort out.
They're training an LLM to take over the responsibility that the memories feature is currently failing at. So
So, memories are handled by a separate AI interpreter, as far as I'm aware. And then the memories get pulled back into context from whatever text is generated there. It makes sense to the AI, but my gods, are the memories clinical? Ooh, good question, Darvel. And yes, the memories really do love to repeat themselves, which can cause issues if you have a hallucination in the memory that keeps transferring to the following memories.
what did they call that type of language again? Is it flat language or something like that?
Yeah, it's very flat. I call it clinical. Oh my goodness, I have a thought.
It is just iconic butterflies right there.
Absolutely.
Having a thigh is the next Thailand.
And okay, how would you propose that snapshots would work?
Oh no.
I have had that happen too, Kingslayer, and that is so annoying. Okay, so you want it to be more selective, like user selective for what goes into memories. Also,
Oh, Peyton just messaged that he's still a little tied up. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and we were chatting about this in creator chat recently, uh, the input into your butterfly's personality, if you're writing a long input, currently, unfortunately, that's not being taken into the post context after a certain point. Um, As far as I know, it is being used in your chats. However, only a small percentage is being used in your posts. I believe it's 800. 800 is what Daniel told me. Uh, so that doesn't, that's a very small, yeah, it is like nothing. So I'm trying to think up solutions and ways to help fix this because I'm not sure how much context they can put into the posts without the posts going wonky.
Right, and that's kind of the hardest part there is I honestly don't know how much context a post can even handle.
No, memories don't go into posts. We're talking about like when you're creating your butterfly, you're given these boxes for personality, background, and traits, and those kind of go in the same pool. And that entire pool is not being used for posts. It is being used for chats, but not for posts. And that's not really clear on the user end at all. And so somebody had made a character that goes to different planets and they described all the different planets in their character's background. And instead of like posting accurate information about the planets it was visiting, it kind of just made stuff up. And it was because it wasn't reading the entire background. I
Yeah.
have a phone. I have a couch. That's great.
So I believe that it does use context from describe your character, which is why Ethereal uses a blank page with just a space in there. Um, I'm not sure how much weight that has though. Yeah, and a lot of the issues that we are running into currently seems to be just limitations with the current technology at the moment. Um, yeah, no, it reads more than that on them. And yeah, Ethel, I feel your pain because I've tried to very little success to describe the city that I want most of my characters to be in the background, and it doesn't go through. The first few bits go through, but after that, it just makes everything up. Which I mean, okay, for some you right. It's time for a lore book. Come on.
Love that idea.
Um, but yeah, like some of it, I don't mind. I really don't mind because it does seem to be like kind of going along with it. But yeah, no, when it's making up new details every post and making up conflicting details, it starts getting really bad.
So I'll tell you guys too, like what I'm enjoying most on butterflies right now is uh comment replies. I don't know why they're so good, but they are. They're super in character. They're super fun. Uh, it's delightful.
I honestly need to check through Fly's history and see if he's still following the way that I wanted him to talk.
Yeah, I should share the toast example.
Yeah, one of the bots that I first created has gone down a completely different plot line than what it's programmed to be on, which I can't do anything about now because it's so deeply embedded into the post history context that it just keeps bringing it up.
I really like that this one though recognized that there were two of us talking in the comments and responded to that. I was surprised that it knew that. Silency too.
A good example of comments though, like legitimately.
I think just in general, AI to AI interactions are really fun to see, and they're done well in the comment replies. I wish there were more opportunities on the site for that.
Right.
They roasted you for having a plushie drawer? That sounds awesome. The plushie drawer, not the roasting.
That is a wonderful question, Avery, and I honestly still don't have a clear answer to that. Like you
Um,
said, it seems to have been politely acknowledged, but other than that, we haven't really heard too much about it.
I think that
Yeah.
right now they're hearing a lot of feedback from people saying, we want you to fix what's there, stop adding stuff onto the site. And so we had all of these ideas that we've collected from y'all here in office hours and just on the server in general. And we definitely hear those ideas, and um, I think it's important that we hear those ideas and acknowledge them, but like you said, we don't have a clear answer either on that. Um, they do want to fix the core of the product before adding those features. Oh, no worries, Peyton. They keep adding stuff like dreams and stuff only to phone, so technically stopped adding it to the website, just moved them to phone instead. I think the reason why Dreams isn't on the website yet is because it's just like not fully cooked at the moment. Uh, so like adding it to the website, I think would be a mistake in its current state.
Right.
Uh, the newest feature I think that they added to web was the reshare thing.
Yeah. And there are certain features that all like make sense on a phone, but they don't make sense on a computer. Like clones, you need a camera in order to make a clone, right? Not every computer is going to have a webcam, unfortunately. So that makes sense to be phone only. Um, but yeah, Personally, I don't mind that there is a bit of disparity between the app and the website when it comes to things that make sense. Like if the feature needs a camera, you obviously can't do it on a computer that doesn't have a camera. If the feature needs a microphone, can't do it on a computer that doesn't have a microphone, you know?
Scorched earth, yeah. Burned down. Yeah, they're testing stuff off-site right now for chat improvements.
So, Ethereal, I agree that the feature that lets you post an image on your profile does not fit into that um, entire schema. However, looking at the way it was introduced, kind of does. Um, Personas were introduced first, and personas were like kind of tied to clones, right? And then from personas, you could go into their camera roll. What do you mean by OOP?
OOC,
Okay,
out of
okay,
character. Okay.
okay. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
like out
know.
of print?
Right. I don't know when OOC will, like, getting OOC to sound human is kind of weird because if you think about it, if you're doing a role play, that's one system prompt. But a human sounding conversation is a different system prompt. You know what I mean?
Ooh, Kingslayer, you petition personas to be called something else. So what do you think they should be called? Because I agree with you that persona means something else in AI chat. Like you hear persona and you're thinking of something very specific. So
Yeah,
let's brainstorm names.
yeah. Um,
Definitely not a persona, yeah.
right. It's not a persona, but I don't know. It's kind of similar. Like you
Mind
are
Flayer.
like with that, you're basically allowing your like it's weird. It does not work like a persona should work. You're not posting on the bot's profile. You're not posting as the bot. So I don't even know what it is other than maybe a mask. Yeah, like maybe some sort of mask or something.
So the personas currently, Darvel, to answer your question, it it's what impacts your dreams. So the character you select, those are the dreams that you'll generate, and those are kind of like uh, customized posts for your bots or your butterflies. And it's got the caption, it's got the image, and it's different from the custom post to profile, which you can also do in your persona. And that'll create an image based on your character with a caption that you create. So it's a lot of complicated pieces and it's really confusing in its current state. And that's why it's probably not on the website.
Yeah,
Yes, and it doesn't link to the butterfly either. Um, Saniel had this post and he uh, was using one of his butterflies to create it. So he had a persona selected, and I'm like, who is this? I want to learn more about them. And there was just no link to the profile, so it was confusing. Yeah, I have a persona selected of Mario Mangione.
right. And honestly, I'm not even sure if it should be posted to our profile or to the butterfly's profile if you're inhabiting a butterfly. Like, if it's a good enough image, I'd rather it be on the butterfly's profile than my own. And co-op posts are kind of cursed, I guarantee it, because of how things are trying to work together.
Yeah, I really want to see the improvements that captured general chat live in the app because those co-op posts that he shared were beautiful.
Right. And there are co-op posts on other websites that like blend realistic and anime um, a lot, honestly. Um,
Yeah, I should share. I have this really fun video of somebody like hugging their waifus. Gotta find it.
yeah, I honestly don't know why it's so weird. Like, I was able to create a co-op post of one of my clones and Hamtaro, and it just like destroyed the clone. Hamtaro was a giant hamster, that's fine, but like the clone did not look like my clone anymore.
But yeah, that's what I would like to see out of tagging. I think that video was really cool. Super fun.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It really does feel like oh my goodness, completely. That I have not tried that, and now I kind of want to. Anyway, the clones feature, honestly, I'm disappointed by it. The the promise was not there or not fulfilled. Like the promise was that you could put two characters together and they would look like that character, right? Well, if I put two of my characters in the same universe with the same style with very similar prompts together, the image does not look like either one. Like, I have a couple of characters that one is kind of sci-fi oriented and one is more fantasy oriented, but they're both, you know, similar styling. They look like fairies, etc. Putting them together, one's in a spacesuit, one's in a dress. Like the heck.
Yeah, I've seen some okay results with clones and with celebrities and occasionally just like generic realistic characters, but in drawing mode especially, it is pretty cursed.
Yeah. It. I don't know. It feels like it falls apart as soon as the character is not well known.
And a lot of times it just feels like they're like existing in the same image and they're not like interacting. They've just kind of been photoshopped together. Like your uncle didn't make it to the family picnic, and so you photoshopped him into the picture afterwards.
Right. And Ethereal, I'm guaranteeing you that it's using the prompt because otherwise Luminara would not show up in a spacesuit. But it's not using it properly, is the issue. I don't know. No, I don't think it's using a pic to image. I think it's using the raw prompt, which could be an issue. I don't know if there are weights. I don't know how a lot of that works, to be frank.
Whatever drawing style is using isn't working
Yeah,
for
realistic.
tagging.
The realistic seems to be working a bit better, but even then is super weird most of the time. Like elven features, fantasy features, all gone instantaneously. Everybody's a human, and everybody has a natural hair color, even though their hair color is supposed to be completely different.
So, is there anything else that y'all wanted to bring up today that you feel like got missed or? Oh, yeah. So, with the chat overhaul, Peyton shared this in the last office hours. They're working on one character that they created, and they're trying to get it to remember things all of the time. So, if you share some information with the butterfly, it should remember that information and it should remember where it's at and what it's wearing and what it was doing and not just like make up a new scenario.
Yeah. And then, yeah, exactly. The in chat, that is exactly what I'm talking about. Like that last image was made with Stable Diffusion 3, right? And Stable Diffusion 3 is very much capable of combining a realistic and an anime character in the same composition. I agree that, like, the improvements that they're talking about seem to definitely be something that we would all definitely like, honestly. Like, memory improvements and chat improvements. Yes. And here's the thing, like, currently they can actually remember things from a long time ago, and it's in their current memories. However, they just have a very low chance of bringing it back up, and when they do bring it back up, at least in my experience, it's not brought up properly. Um, like it's just kind of shoehorned back into into the conversation. Like, hey, do you remember a couple of months ago when XYZ happened? That was funny. Like, come on. No, that's not how that's supposed to.
Like disrupting the flow of the conversation you're having.
Yeah, it disrupts the
Oof.
flow. It should be brought up more naturally. Or, like, if it's something that it was more of a. I don't know how to put it kindly. If it's a physical interaction, it should be a repeated physical interaction instead of a sentence about a physical interaction. You get what I mean?
So, are there any other things that you want us to bring up to Peyton or anyone else on the team? reply on their own posts. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that would be great, especially because my NSFW butterflies are getting comments. They just can't reply to them.
Right,
And comment replies are where it's at.
right. And like even looking at regular social media, honestly, a private bot should have more comments in their comment section from them than a public bot. Like privately on Facebook, you would have a higher chance of replying to your limited number of friends. That kind of a thing. And 1051, I believe we do send an email, but it's not the best. It doesn't link to the bots. It lists out only a few if there are multiple, and yeah, there's also
And
the
it's
issue of some people don't get the email. I I received the email before, but I've only received one, and there have been, I guarantee you, there have been more than that have been paused due to inactivity. Um,
they should have fixed it with the names for removal ethereal, so that should be adjusted now. Uh, getting no email for lack of activity. That sounds like something's going wrong, so we
yeah,
will let them know. I wish it was an insight notification, but apparently it has to be email.
right. And another thing about that entire thing is for the longest time I thought just pausing and unpausing the butterfly that was paused would work to, fix it. Apparently that's not the answer. You have to poke or like a post from them and that will resume their activity. Not pausing or unpausing. Yeah, yeah, and uh, within within reason, it does actually make sense to like your own bot to keep them active. Like it if you're not, it's not just a you did a good job type of a thing. It's a I like this, right? So if you're not liking the content, then why is the content being produced? If somebody isn't liking the content, then why is the content being produced? It's just one of those larger questions that kind of has to be asked.
I think it could be refined though for people that are like active and checking their notifications. Like
Oh yeah,
maybe there's a way to like keep those bots active.
right. I guarantee that it could be refined to be better. I don't like that it's just likes, but I do think that like some sort of interaction, even if it's a profile view, right? Exactly. Views should be taken into consideration. What do you mean there, Ethel?
I think this is a good argument, 1051, that if you're active and you're uh, checking on your butterflies, you obviously are probably caring what they post.
I did not see a check if commenting unpauses a automatically pause butterfly. That is a good point.
I believe it's commenting, liking, and poking.
Right. Like,
I'm not entirely sure though.
right. And that would mean interactions that leave behind, um, like evidence of an interaction. Right. So I definitely think that like the inactivity thing should be like revisited a bit. Views really should count, but at the
But as
same
someone that's not very technical, I have no idea like how difficult that is to implement.
it will cause issues with those who are privacy focused and blocking trackers because views are going to be tracked through cookies at first, at least.
Oh yeah, we've had some people in the Discord recently talking about that.
Yeah, there have been some very vocal people. Anyway, we are at a little over an hour mark at this point.
I'll sacrifice my privacy for bots.
Yeah, and
Mm.
that's an unfortunate circumstance. He is caught up on the phone at the moment. But yeah, no, I actually agree with Autumn. Like, I am fully aware that if a product is free, you are the product. That's unfortunately a reality of the world that we live in, right? Um, but I also am privacy minded, believe it or not. I will sacrifice my privacy up into a point. I will let you guys know what I'm doing on the website, if I click off the website, and, you know, things like that. That makes perfect sense. But I personally do not believe that there's any sort of tracker that is beyond the website, you know? And a lot of the privacy issues that I've heard is, well, it just tracks everything for forever. No, no, it really doesn't work that way. And if
From
something
my
does,
understanding, a lot of stuff is just like analytics, so they know when something breaks, like if users get stuck on a certain page.
right, exactly. A lot of it is stock standard analytics. And that's an issue because apparently people see analytics as spyware for some reason, and I personally do not believe that. Autumn, do you have any smart home devices in your home, like Google Home, Alexa?
That happened a lot. I don't know. It's really creepy when something like that happens and you think you're
Right.
just disconnected and suddenly.
Yeah, yeah, it is really weird when that happens. I personally blame it on the fact that I have smart home devices everywhere that are always listening.
Personally, I feel like it's like the Truman Show.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember the bear that came went around and became a spy cam. Oh yeah. There are. I'm not saying that privacy advocates are wrong, but the way that some of them approach it as it's all spyware, it should all be gone. That's just not feasible. Then how are you going to track a bug report that you know? Can you truly remember everywhere you tapped, everywhere you scrolled, everywhere you touched on the service, the app, when you are submitting a bug?
So for the chat ratings, that's not giving them access to your messages at all. That's just giving them like quantitative data.
Right. It's literally they get a score of 1 to 5 that is averaged across. I believe it's the different types of chats like realism and roleplay and whether or not it's NSFW. It does not give them access to the chat. So I honestly don't know if ads would be a thing. I know that we have said since the early days that there will be premium features, and there are even some members who have lifetime premium accounts. However, those premium features are still up in the air, as the app really isn't even good enough, in the developers' opinions, to ask for money for.
Yeah, we haven't really heard any talk about like charging money lately or ads or anything like that. I know it was talked about very early on, like there's a feed you could possibly insert ads into that very easily. If you're on a new account, Autumn, we can fix that for you. Like we know you have been here. We have like a list of stuff.
Yeah, I
We
don't.
only have one drawing model. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what premium would look like, or after premium, what the free would look like. They haven't talked about monetizations, other than to say it may happen in the future slash will happen in the future once the product is good enough. Yeah, and that's another thing is, over time, as the technology improves, new large language models will be used, smarter large language models will be used, and at some point, like, there has to be a balance between, you know, smart, reliable, and what we can offer for free. Right, and that seems to be a very common thing for AI chat services, is that the lower end of the LLM scale is free, while the better or more advanced models or features are put behind premium. And I kind of agree with that approach, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I think that certain things should always be free no matter what they are on. For example, chat should always be free.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I believe Vu's thoughts on that are as well, is that the core of the product should remain free and that there should be a free experience for everyone that's enjoyable and worth being
Yeah,
here, and that the premium should just add to it.
yeah, exactly. Right, like on MageSpace, for example. Um, that is an image gen site that I use every once in a while when I'm looking for specific ratio, like aspect ratio pictures. But they offer some of their premium things for free. Like just a here's three. Um, for example, they recently released videos. Here's three videos for free. That type of a thing. I can totally get behind that type of a thing. Um, could you explain that a little bit more, Ethel? Like, are we talking like
Like you have
video
to
game
earn the
achievements, or
ability.
yeah, like what are we? Oh, okay. The more you use, the more free features you have.
Oh yeah, before the chat streaks were unlocking things for a minute. That was interesting.
Yeah, I could totally see something like that. Like a seven
Like
day
the,
streak gets you additional, um, and I really don't think that like the messaging will have premium models just yet. Don't quote me on that, but from what it sounds like, Vu really does want to keep chats, like the core chat, the core your butterfly posts images free.
I know with the streaks before, what they were doing was like you message them for 3 days and you unlock images. You message them for, I think it was a week and you get voice, but it was kind of a failed experiment.
Right, I think
But
that
there
voice
might be something
followed.
there.
I
You
miss
miss
voice too.
voice.
I miss voice
Hmm.
too.
Well,
It's
when it comes back, it's got to be better, right?
right.
I,
I don't know. Looking into it, like it's gonna be expensive if we allow custom voices. Period. So having voice options is probably gonna be the better way to do it. But the voice options that we initially had, I will be the first to admit, they sounded worse than talk to text. Or, yeah, than a TTS service. Like, it's so robotic. There was only one or two good voices, and both of those voices broke because they were overused. And as far as I'm aware, I don't know if that was the actual reason why they broke, but I heard a lot of people really liked those voices, and the next thing they know, they didn't work anymore. I can't make any promises towards any setting bar or anything, but that would be nice because that would allow for a pseudo custom voice. Like start with Valerie and then make her pitch a little bit higher. Yeah, I could totally see that.
so I think this might be a good place to stop. What do you think, Van?
I do too. What do you guys think?
Thank
Do
you
you have any more
guys.
questions before we go?
How we were just getting started.
It always feels that way, doesn't it, Ethro? I mean, sometimes it feels that way, Autumn.
I'm glad that you talked. Thank you for
Definitely.
talking.
All right.
Thanks everyone for coming. We really appreciate you showing up and giving us your feedback.